first stream of NapKim Math. I'm really glad you're here. This is a new space that I've been dreaming up for a while. It's a mix of math, data, games, and a little bit of creative chaos. Before we jump into the data and gameplay, I just want to take a minute to explain what NapKim Math is and where the name came from. So, NapKim Math, if you've ever heard of the term napkin math, it's where it's kind of like back of the envelope math, where you just have like a small piece of paper and you jot things down and like do stuff that's really fast, doesn't have to be perfect, but it can build upon each other. And so that's really what I wanted to do. I am a business intelligence engineer, making dashboards, working with SQL, spreadsheets, and databases, all that fun stuff. And I tend to sketch out my ideas and thoughts on little scraps of paper, usually sticky notes, but napkins can still apply, like literally. At home, in my office, when I'm out and about, math and data just scribbled all over the place. And so, also, my husband and I both have sleep disorders, so naps are kind of a lifestyle. I do have a lot of nap related clothing, and so I'll probably be wearing a lot of that on these streams. And so that's where this name came from, Nap, Kim, and Math. It's cozy, scrappy, a little nerdy, and just weird enough to work. So, this channel is all about breaking down data and math concepts for fun, accessible ways. Whether it's through games like Balatro, which we're going to start with, personal data tracking, or building tools live, it's for everyone, whether you're into numbers or just curious how it all connects. I'm literally going to be creating my own data sets so that we can see from start to finish how things are built. This is really helpful because one of the things that I see happening the most in my line of work is that the more you understand the data, the underlying data, the more you're able to find interesting insights. And as I was building up this data set, the structure, I realized that if I didn't have a very deep understanding of how Balatro worked, um, I would have had a very difficult time building out everything that I wanted to be able to make sure that everything worked together. Understanding the intricacies of a game like this can make it so the data that we're building is very complex, but I'm hoping that I can break it down enough for you very simply so that we can all learn this together. And that's really what this is all about. Um, I have gotten a lot of people reaching out to me, either that I have known or people who know I'm in this line of work. Some of their connections reach out to me. And obviously, in this job market, it's very difficult. And one of the things that I noticed on a lot of the resumes that people were sending me just to get feedback was that a lot of them had the same projects in their portfolio that they had from like a online course or something. And so that's kind of why I wanted to create something like this, is so I didn't want people to just use this as is, but I wanted to use it as a tool so you could take what you're passionate about, whether that's Balatro, some type of sport, um, anything that has data that you can build, and then build your own portfolio off of that. We'll be able to use all the same tools, all the same base code. It's just how you apply it that's a little different. So I'm excited that we're all on this journey together. And thank you. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here today. So for today, it's really going to be chill. I'm just going to be showing one of the ways that I'm tracking for just the runs in Google Sheets. I'll show you how I log each run, what data I'm collecting, and why it matters. Super, super simple today, but it's going to grow very fast. Next Saturday, we'll dive into some of the more complex data collection once we have some data built out from this week's stream, as well as when I stream next Tuesday and Thursday. So basically, we're turning Balatro into a full-on data playground. So after I show you my basic Google Sheet. I'll be playing a couple of runs live so we can test the sheet in action and build up some of our first data for us to analyze. Now, I don't know if all of you have experience with Google Sheets. I'm going to be using it because it's free, very easy to use, and spreadsheets may feel intimidating, but really, like, I'll keep things super, super approachable. I'll walk through how I structure the sheet, how I use drop downs to make things consistent, and use simple formulas and build up over time. That way we can track what actually matters. You don't need any spreadsheet experience to follow along. Now, for people new to Balatro, if you've never played it, it's a roguelike deck builder that plays like poker, but it's a little wilder than that. You play hands of cards, collect jokers that have very different, sometimes crazy effects, and try to beat each blind. It's really strategic, unpredictable, and endlessly fun. I've been playing it for months and months now on my phone, and I just love it so much. That's why I wanted to start with this game. Really, it has so much data that we can work with that I could probably stream about this for years and years and still never run out of data, or new things to look into. So I'll give like a really quick overview before we jump into a run. But first, I'm going to show what the spreadsheet looks like. So I have built everything in Google Sheets. Obviously, this is just one sheet to look at how we're going to be tracking runs. Every run, which is basically like every new game you play, has a unique ID. And then we have a bunch of other columns that are associated with the run that we're going to be tracking to make things easier to analyze. We'll start with this first column because it's going to be the easiest to understand. This column is going to tell us whether we won the game or not. It's a drop down that has true or false, and how I built that is if you right click on a series of cells, there's an option for a drop down. You can change where to apply it. You can either type it in or click this, and you can literally click the cells that you want to use. And then you can add in true, false, anything else. I can add an other, and then I can delete that. That one's pretty straightforward. So, and I'll just undo that. Now we have some of the more, some of the data related to the decks. Now, question. I think that I might actually be seeing the fact that you can only see welcome to NapKim Math. The stream will be starting soon. Can you see the video, or I apologize. Oh, you could see my screen? Okay, perfect. Thank you, Katie. Is that the Katie I know? Thank you for being here. Okay, perfect. Sorry about that. This is my very first stream, and it looked like I was just showing the starting screen, but that's not the case. Awesome. Thank you, Katie. You rock. And also, thank you to my wonderful husband who's here supporting me as well. All right, so you have a lot of different options for decks you can play in Balatro. So we have a list here. You have the stake, which basically tells you the difficulty that you're playing. We're going to be keeping track, if we win, of the jokers that we win with, because as you go through the game, oh, now you can't? There we go. Is this better? Can you see it now? Okay, sorry about that. All right, so we'll be tracking which jokers that we win with because one of the goals of the game when you try to beat everything related to the game is that you get a sticker on the highest difficulty for every joker. And so we can track the jokers that we win with. And so you can actually select multiple. So if I won with a joker and a greedy joker, it would just have them in that list, and we would be able to have that as a comma separated list. As we go through the game, we're going to be unlocking new jokers, vouchers, and decks, and so we'll keep track of those here. Once the game is complete, it gives you a seed. It's an alphanumeric string of text that lets you identify the game that you're playing. And so sometimes people will use that to go back and play the same like version of the game that someone else did. So that is pretty nifty when you're going through it. The status is helping me with my start and end timestamp. Anytime you change anything in here, I have the start and end stamp set to now. And so if I want to start the game now, it'll change everything. And then what I can do is when I actually start, I'll copy and paste values so it'll be static instead of a formula. And then the rest of these are going to be what you see when the game ends so that we can validate against what happens in our other data sources to make sure that what we're capturing is accurate. All right. So are you all ready to play our first game? Let me change to this screen so I can say exactly when we started. Copy, paste values. All right, go ahead and play, and I'll switch it to the full screen. All right, so we're starting with our red deck, which is the very first deck you can play. White stake means it's the easiest. Once you beat the white stake, you'll have more stakes that you can play. All right, here we go. All right, so in every game, you have 8 different antes that you need to beat the game. And within those antes, you have 3 different blinds. The small blind is a little bit easier. You have a lower score that you need to get to win. Then you go on to the big blind, which is a little bit of a larger score, but it has a larger reward. And then for every single ante, you have a different random boss blind that can show up. And it has something unique that happens every time. So since we're dealing with a 52 card deck, none of the spade cards when we play this ante will be able to give us any points. So we'll need to keep that in mind as we go through the game. We have tags at the bottom here, which if you skip the small blind or the big blind, you'll get the tag as the reward. So this first one is your hand size will grow by 3 cards for the next round. And this one is a double tag. So if we were to skip this blind, we get 2 of whatever tag we were to get next. So we're just going to go ahead and start the small blind so you all can see how this game plays. So I'm going to bring up the run info so we can see all the different poker hands and all the different scores that go along with them. So we have straight flush, which is like super hard to get, which is 5 cards in a row, consecutive ranks with all cards showing the same suit, all the way down to just high card. Every single poker hand will have a chip score and a multiplier score, and you'll have different ways of making these values go up, including by using jokers, which we'll see when we go to the shop after we win our first hand. If you need to, you can refer to what blinds are coming up in here as well. And if you have any vouchers, they'll be displayed here as well. And so for our very first hand, we see that we actually do already have a straight. Because I've played this before, I know that that won't win the very first round. And so I'm going to discard to see if I get a queen, which I did. So the queen, jack, 10, 9, 8. I select all the cards that I want to play, hit play hand, and that will get us over the 300 points we need. All right, so we won our very first round, and we got $3 from winning the round, and with 3 remaining hands, we got $1 each for those, which is why I wanted to see if I could get a queen. Otherwise, I would have just played until I played like 2 hands to win the round. So I'm going to cash out, and then we're going to go to our shop. Now, this is where you can buy jokers, which have different values that help you increase your score. So this one is one where any played ace gives you an extra 20 chips and an extra 4 multiplier when it's scored. You have your planet cards, which help level up your poker hands. And so this one in particular levels up a pair. So for the pair, it's 10 by 2, and it would increase it by 15 chips and 1 multiplier. You have vouchers, which do different things. And so this one in particular helps it. So if you re-roll, those re-rolls cost $2 less. So re-rolls will help you bring different cards up here. And so if you were to play this voucher, that means that your first re-roll would start at $3. And then you also have booster packs. Booster packs, so this would have 2 random jokers within it, and you would be allowed to select one of those to go up here in your joker area. You can also buy playing cards that have different ways of increasing your score on them. They might just be your standard playing cards, so like your King of Spades or your Eight of Clubs, but they can also have things like adding a multiplier of 4 to your score, or adding 30 bonus chips to your score. I tend to save up my money a little bit more, and so I'm going to go ahead to the next round without buying anything, just because one of the things in Balatro is for most decks, for every $5 you have, you'll get an extra $1 of interest if you win the round. So because these are low enough scores where I might not necessarily need jokers, I'm going to go ahead and go on. All right, so we have a 2 pair here, but if I change it to be ranked by suit, we have a flush. And flushes are actually higher scoring currently than straights. So I'm going to go ahead and play that. I don't think that's going to be enough to win the round, but we'll see. All right, so we got 300, score of 300. And so let's see. I'm going to discard these 2 cards. Over here will tell you how many discards you have left, and that doesn't mean how many cards you can discard, that means how many times you can discard. And you can discard up to 5 cards at the same time. So I'm going to discard those 2. So we have Jack 10, 9, 8. I think I'm going to get rid of these 3 to maybe get a straight, or potentially another, maybe a 2 pair. All right, so we could either we have a straight and we have a 2 pair. Now, for those of you who know poker, straight is higher scoring than 2 pair. And so I'm gonna go ahead and play the straight. And you'll see over here, it has what you've played, and then it adds up your score as you go along. So we run that round as well. We can cash out. We'll get $4 for winning the round. 2 remaining hands is $2, and we get $2 interest because we had $10 to start. And I like to try and build up to $25 before I buy anything in the shop, unless I see something that I really like or that really is helpful. So let me know if you have any questions as we're going through this, because this may be a new game for some people, but it is a lot of fun. So let's see. We have we get extra 2 chips for every $1 you have. So currently 36 chips. We have add double the rank of the lowest card held in your hand to the multi. You have the same voucher. The voucher stays the same for the entire ante, so that won't change until we make it to ante 2. We have the Arcana pack, which has tarot cards, which can apply special effects to your cards, and so there's a lot of things that those can do as well. There's going to be 3 different random options in there, and we can choose up to 1. And then spectral cards are a little bit more unique, and we can choose one of 2. So to make sure that we're getting through quickly, to build up enough points, I'm going to go ahead and buy this one, the Raised Fist, because if we have like the lowest card in our hand is a 7, we'll be able to add 14 points to the multiplier. And so I'm just going to stick with that and go on to our boss blind. So as you can see, all spade cards are debuffed. So that means that we can play the 7 or the 4. They just wouldn't score us any points. Oh, thank you. My husband played the first few games of Balatro last night to prepare for the stream. I appreciate that. So we have 4 cards potentially for a flush. So that's 5 cards of the same suit. We only have 4 cards for a straight, but we do have 2 pair. Because we have this joker, I'm going to go ahead and play the 2 pair and hope that maybe we get an ace or a 9 to complete our straight if we don't make it through the round. So you can see that the 7 and the 4 of spades did not get added to the chips. However, because we had this and our lowest card was of value of 10, it added 20 to the multi. So that made us win the hand in made us win the round in one hand. And I also unlocked a different joker that we'll see at the end of the game. So that got us $5 for winning the boss blind, $3 because we had 3 remaining hands, and because I had $13, I get $2 of interest. All right, so now we have, this is Luchador. This, if you buy this joker, if you start a round and it's a boss blind, you can sell it to disable the effect of that. So if we had it for the last round and we had sold it, our spades would have been playable. We have Square Joker. It gains 4 chips for every time you play a hand that's exactly 4 cards. This allows you to get tarot cards more frequently in the shop. And then these are 2 playing card packs where they give you 5 different options. Because I have $23, I think, actually, let me check the upcoming blinds before I make that decision. So we have a small blind where we could get a celestial pack with 2 different planets, a tag that would allow us to get one of 2 spectral cards. And then our boss blind is that we can only play one hand type this round. So if you play a straight as your first hand of the round, every single hand that scores after that has to be a straight. So I'm going to go ahead and skip this so we can increase some of our poker scores. So we can increase 3 of a kind, high card, full house, flush, or 4 of a kind. So since this is the first run on here, beginning hand, I am going to increase, let's see, I'm going to do 3 of a kind, and then flush, because I'm a little bit more likely to play those than others. So now, if I look at my run info, I can see the flush has increased, so it's now 50 chips by 6, and 3 of a kind is now 50 by 5. So if I play either of those, they will be higher scoring than some of the others. I'm going to go ahead and skip this so we can get a spectral pack as well, and so you can see what that looks like. So we have 2 different options. So this is Grim. If you select this, it destroys 1 random card in your hand and adds 2 random enhanced aces. And then Sigil converts all cards in your hand to a single random suit. I think I'm going to go ahead and get this. So it destroyed, I think, a 9, and then added in 2 different aces. And this ace that has the squiggly lines that might look like lightning or something is a multiplier card, and so it adds 4 to the multi. And then this is a steal card, which is pretty interesting because it has effects where if you are playing and you keep the card in your hand but don't actually play it, then it multiplies your score by 1.5. So these are really useful to have, especially as you're trying to get to higher rounds. So you'll notice, which you may not think about, is this ace adds to the multi, so +4. This one multiplies the multi, so this is multiplied by 1.5. So those are going to give you very different outcomes, and so they can be very useful in different situations. And you can see that we lost our 9 of clubs here. All right, so we need to remember that we're only playing one hand type this round. And so because of that, I tend to err more towards hands that I believe will be easier to pop up. And so instead of, like we have 4 hearts here, instead of trying to go for a flush, I'm actually going to try to go for maybe a 2 pair. So we have 2 aces, 2 8s. And because we have our double fist or raised fist, I'm going to play those. And fun fact, you can play 5 cards even if they're not all scored. And because this adds double the rank of the lowest card to the multiplier, this means that if I play this card, it's not going to be scored, but your raised fist would be based off of the 6 of clubs rather than the 2 of clubs. And so I'm going to do that. It's a sneaky way to get extra discards. All right, so we'll play that. All right, so that got us 1,000 points. And because we can only play one hand type, we have to play a 2 pair. And so we do have a 2 pair here. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to select the 2 pair and then also select this 3 of hearts to get it out of our what we're holding in our hand. And that way the 6 will be used for the raised fist. All right, we beat ante 2, and now we're on to ante 3. And now I want to start trying to get some more jokers. So this joker, it gets an extra 0.1 added to the multiplier if you play an enhanced card. So your aces right now are only enhanced cards. However, it removes that effect from the enhancement if it's played. We have Pluto, which levels up the high card. Your playing card voucher, which means that your playing cards can be purchased from the shop. We have a buffoon pack, which allows you to choose one of 4 jokers, and then your playing cards. We have this standard pack here. We can choose one of up to 5. So I'm gonna go ahead and buy the buffoon pack. And so we have adding chips if we play a 2 pair. Selling this will get us a free double tag. Create a tarot card if your hand is played with $4 or less. And then re-trigger each played 2, 3, 4, or 5. I think for the purpose of this, I'm going to go ahead and get the 2 pair just because I want to be able to start increasing our score. Now, when I play, this is just my own personal preference. I try to keep the money I hold to $25 or more just because the max interest you can get right now is $1 for every $5 you have, up to having $25 in your hand. So let me go ahead and get this high card. And so you have 2 options. You can either buy and it'll go up here in your consumable spot, or you can buy it and use it immediately. I'm going to go ahead and buy and use it immediately. All right, so we'll go to the next round. So we have a double tag, gives $1 per unused discard in this run, so that would give us $12 right now. And then all face cards are drawn face down is our boss blind. So right now I'm going to go ahead and play the small blind and see what happens. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all of these. So right now we have a 2 pair. We still have 3 discards left, so I'm going to discard one more time. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and play the 2 pair and get rid of that 4 of hearts as well, because we get 80 extra chips for playing the 2 pair, and we get times 20 added to the multiplier because the queen is our lowest card. So that had us win the round in one hand. All right, now we're going to cash out. Now you'll notice up here our jokers take up 2 of 5 spots, and if we ever get to the point where we have 5 jokers and we want to get a different one, you can always sell it. And they have different sell values based off of the value of the card. And that's just something to keep in mind as you're going through a run. You don't necessarily have to keep the jokers that you start with, and they can be reordered. And that's going to be important when you have something that adds to the multiplier and something that multiplies. So let's see, we can increase our flush. We can turn a card into a glass card, which means it multiplies our multiplier by 2, but there is also a 1 in 4 chance that this card is going to be destroyed. We have a spectral that we can get, and then we also have a tarot pack that we can open. So I'm going to open the tarot pack. So we can turn one of our cards into a stone card, which means that it's 50 chips, but there's no rank or suit. We can change a card into a gold card, so it retains its value and suit. However, if it's in your hand at the end of the round, you don't play it, then you get $3. And then we also get the total sell value of all current jokers. And so right now, because if we click it, it says $2, $2, that means this would be 4. I try to build up some money, so I'm gonna go ahead and play that. You can see we unlocked the blue deck when we did that. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and open the spectral pack. All right, so we can convert all our cards in our hand to a single random rank, and that decreases our hand size by 1. We can add a red seal to one selected card in your hand, so that means that it will be re-triggered either when you play it or if it's held in your hand an additional time. So if you put it on a jack of clubs and you play it, you would get 20 chips instead of 10. So ectoplasm, add negative to a random joker, decrease your hand size by 1, and then destroy 5 random cards in your hand and you gain $20. I think, based off of trying to do this first run simply, I'm going to do the red seal. So I'm going to select which card I want to have the red seal, and then I'm going to go ahead and use it. All right, now I'm also going to buy the glass card, and because it's a tarot card that's not in a booster pack in the shop, it will go up to our consumable slot up here. So we can play that when we like. So now I'm going to go ahead to the next round. And the garbage tag, we can get $14 since we didn't use 14 discards so far. I'm going to go ahead and skip that blind so we can get that money. And now we'll go on to the mark. All of our face cards are drawn face down. And so that can make things a little bit complicated. However, you can sort by suit and it will show you what suit they are. So that is helpful if you are trying to get a flush. We do have 8, 7, 6, 5. So I am going to be... Okay, so I was trying to maybe get a straight there. That didn't happen, but now we have 3 aces and then a random face card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this ace into a glass card. So it looks like glass. I'm then going to, let's see, we did increase our 3 of a kind to be a little bit more of a higher scoring hand. And so I'm going to play a 3 of a kind. However, this means that our steal card is not going to, the multiplier isn't going to be applied because the card is not staying in our hand. But we do have the +4 and the ×2. And I'm going to rearrange these so we add 4, then multiply by 2. So if we get 5, we add 4, we get 9. Multiply by 2, we get 18. Instead of 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14. And that's before our 2 pair and our raised fist. So we'll go ahead and play that. All right, a little over half the way there. Not sure where the diamonds would be. Actually, the diamonds would need to be over here because when you sort by suit, it keeps them in numerical order within the suit. And so all 4 of these should be spades. You have your 7, you have 2 clubs, and because this is to the right of the 6, this has to be a diamond. So let me know in the chat. Do you want me to try to go for a straight or a flush? What do you think? Flush. Alrighty. And let's see, we can also look at our deck to see what's left. It won't tell you about the face cards we got discarded. Flush has better odds, yes. And so we do have 10 spades remaining. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to sort them and get rid of anything that isn't a spade. All right, so that would give us a flush. And that is one of our hands that we increased the level of. So that gives us more points, but we still haven't quite gotten to 4,000 yet. So let's see. We have 3 diamonds. We do have 11 diamonds left, which is more than the other suits. I'm going to do something crazy and get rid of the lower values to see what we get. All right, so now we definitely have a pair of face cards in here. I'm going to discard one more time because sometimes this is all about trying to figure out the odds. Now we have 5 face cards, so that means we at least have to have either a 3 of a kind or a 2 pair because you only have 3 different face cards. So I'm going to go ahead and play that. So we got a 2 pair of kings and queens. Let's see if that's enough to push us over the edge. Yes, it is. All right, and we unlocked another joker. And we got our first achievement for reaching ante 4. Yes, Katie, it is so addicting. I love it so much. I play it every day on my phone, but I started a new profile on here. Yeah, it is a lot of fun. I definitely agree. All right, so we have this guy that there's a 1 in 2 chance to create a tarot card when you open any booster pack. We have our flush. We can increase. We have a tarot card booster pack, standard booster pack, and then we can permanently gain 1 hand per round. And we have $52, so I'm going to spend a lot of money. So we're going to redeem that. Now we have 5 hands per round instead of 4. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and buy this guy. And so that way, when I open these, it has a 1 in 2 chance of creating a tarot card. I'm going to go ahead and open up the standard pack first, because if it produces a tarot card, let's see. Nope, it did not. I could have played it in the tarot card pack if it did. And so we can add a 3 of spades, 6 of diamonds, jack of clubs that has a 4 multiplier. We're going to add the jack of clubs. All right, now I'm going to open the tarot pack. All right. Ooh, this is going to be fun. All right, so we have our stone card, which we talked about. We can convert up to 3 cards to clubs. We have the Fool, which creates the last tarot or planet card that you used. And so in this case, the last one we used is the glass card. We have the Judgment, which creates a random joker. And then we have Temperance, which gives us the total sell value of all our current jokers. I'm going to take a chance and use Judgment and see what joker we get. Alright, so Mystic Summit, if we use up all our discards, it adds 15 to the multiplier. So that one can be useful. We haven't been using all of our discards yet, but once we get to the higher rounds, we might need to. And so we have $28. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll show you what it looks like if you buy it, it goes up there, and then you can also use it right away. You can also sell it if you want to, but that would be not a good value because we just paid $3 for it. But if you get a free one or you are holding some and you find something better, you can also sell them. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. And then move on to the next round. And so this is our next set of blinds. We could get a free double tag. The coupon tag gives you free items in the shop. And then our upcoming boss blind is all club cards are debuffed. So I'm going to go ahead and play the small blind. All right, so we have a pair, which isn't quite a lot. So I'm going to get rid of the 4 and the 8, hoping that we maybe get a king for a straight or something for a 2-pair full house. Not great. I'm going to get rid of those. Try again. All right, so now we almost have a straight. We need one more card. I don't want to get rid of my ace because it adds 4 to the multi, but I think I might need to. So we're going to get rid of the ace and the 2 to give us better odds of getting... Okay, we now have a 2-pair. We only have 1 discard left, and we have 5 hands. So I'm going to go ahead and play the 2-pair. And get rid of the 6 of clubs as well. If we had 1 hand left, I would have gotten rid of all of my remaining discards. Alright, now you can see that if we had kept that queen, we would have had a straight. But it's all about the odds. So I'm going to get rid of these. Alright, so we don't have a flush, we don't have a straight, but we do have a 2-pair. And now, because we have 0 discards left, we add 15 to the multiplier from Mystic Summit. So I'm going to go ahead and play that and get rid of the 5 as well. So our Raised Fist gives us 16 instead of 10. All right, that got us there. All right, now we have convert up to 3 selected cards to hearts, and then played cards with a club suit give us 3 in the multiplier when scored. Now, you'll notice that our upcoming blind means that all club cards are debuffed, so in this boss blind, if we play a club card, this joker won't work. We also can open up an Arcana pack to choose up to 2 of 5 tarot cards, or open up a standard pack. I'm going to open up the Mega Arcana pack first and see if... Okay, so it gave us a Justice card, and we have a couple different options. We can create a steel card similar to this ace up here. convert cards to clubs, get $8, convert 2 cards to lucky cards. This is like one of my favorite cards. Um, it's a lot of fun because I'm a nerd. And when I say I'm a nerd, I always mean that in a good way. It's never derogatory. So every time a card that's a lucky card is played, there's a 1 in 5 chance that it adds 20 to the multi, and 1 in 15 chance that it wins $20. And one of the things with NapKim math is we're going to be tracking how often these actually work. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the lucky cards first. So I'm going to add it to the jack, and then I'm going to add it to the 9 because we already have a couple of aces that have effects on them, and I don't love adding it to lower ranks. So we'll go ahead and do that. And those look like, I don't know, like almost like burnt pieces of paper. And then I'm going to get temperance so we get a little bit more money. I'm tempted to get the Emperor, which creates up to 2 random tarot cards, but I feel like it's just going to give me a couple tarot cards I don't want right now. So we'll add 8 to our total. And so we could get this to convert up to 3 selected cards to hearts. Played club. Even though we have the upcoming boss blind that debuffs them, I'm going to add this because it's still going to work in between. And I'm going to open up a standard pack. Alright, so we have 2 different steel cards, and then this 10 is a wild card. And so it can be used as any suit, and so if we were to play it, it would get 3 added to the multiplier because it would be treated as a club. Because we have the raised fist and we don't want a ton of low cards in our hand, I'm going to go ahead and go with the wild card. I think it's going to be a little bit more useful than the steel cards since they are 2s and 3s. All right. Now this is a fun one. Let's go ahead and skip it and see what happens. All right. So all club cards are debuffed. We have a pair here. We do have almost a flush. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those. There we go. We got our flush. Now, the interesting thing is with the raised fist, if we had a club that was our lowest, you wouldn't actually get the multiplier. So you have to be really careful in rounds like this, if you have raised fists, not to have any clubs as your lowest card. So we're going to go ahead, let's see. Flush is currently our highest scoring hand. And so before we do that, I'm going to turn our 10 into a glass card. I'm not turning the queen into a glass card because if the glass card breaks, that means the queen would disappear, and I'm okay-ish losing a 10. And as a habit, I always move my glass card to the end, just in case any of our other cards can score us any points. That won't be the case this time, but it's just a habit I like to continue to do. Alright, so that got us 3,000 points. Alright, so let's see. We do have a 2 pair here. We have almost a straight up here. If I were to play the 2 pair, that would mean that we wouldn't get any effect from the raised fist. So I'm going to be careful about that. I'm going to get rid of because we almost have a straight here. I'm going to go ahead and just try and see what happens if I get rid of the ace. And so we actually have a straight. I'm going to go ahead and play that. We didn't increase our straight at all, but it is one of the higher scoring. It's higher scoring than a 2-pair. So that's why I want to play it. But only got us up to 4,000 score. All right, so we actually have a full house. And I'm going to get rid of this because I want to try and get something higher for the race fist. All right, so we actually have 4 of a kind now. Let's see. Full house is 40 by 4. 4 of a kind is 60 by 7. So we'll go ahead and play the 4 of a kind. All right, we still have a little bit to go. And so, let's see, we do have a couple 2-pairs that we could do. I'm going to get rid of, let's see. I'm going to get rid of the 4 and the 9. All right, and so now our Mystic Summit is active because we have 0 discards. So I'm going to play this 2-pair because that would mean our lowest card would be King of Diamonds, and we have this lucky card that might give us extra in the multiplier or might give us $20 or could just give us nothing. So let's find out. Nope, got us nothing. All right, but that set us over the edge, and so we defeated Ante 4. Alrighty. I know this first game is taking a long time, but once we get through a couple of games, it'll start going a lot faster. And so, because last time we got the, we skipped a blind that gave us a tag for free items in the shop, all of our consumables and booster packs are free. So, let's see. I am going to go ahead and... So this adds 1 to the multi per hand played, takes 1 away per discard. I'm probably not going to end up keeping that, but I can always get it and sell it if I want to, if I have something in one of these booster packs that I want to keep. So I think I'm going to get rid of Hallucination to do that. And open up both of our booster packs. All right, so we have, I think this is called playing card. If your first discard is only 1 card, it gets destroyed and you earn $3. And then you get extra chips if your hand played contains a 3 of a kind. So that includes 4 of a kind full house. It doesn't mean just 3 of a kind. So let's see. We haven't played any full houses. We've played 1 3 of a kind, and we've played 1 4 of a kind. I'm actually going to skip both of these because I think what we have currently for how we're building this deck is a little bit more valuable. So you don't have to choose one, you can just skip. There's actually a joker that gains value if you skip, but not one that we currently have. So let's open our other one. We have the same one pop up, that can happen. And then earn $5 if 3 or more face cards are discarded at the same time. I don't think that we're building a deck that would be useful for, so I'm going to skip these as well. I'm going to add our Stone Joker to our consumable slot. We can get that playing cards can be purchased from the shop. I'm going to try and reroll to see what comes up first, and then make a decision from there. Alright, so convert up to 3 selected cards to hearts, and then add 12 to the multi if the hand contains a straight. We have played 3 straights. I think I like that a little bit more than Green Joker just because we're already at ante 5. So I'm going to go ahead and sell Green Joker, add Crazy Joker. And because we did 1 reroll, the price of a reroll increased. So I'm going to go ahead and reroll 1 more time. And so we have Hanged Man, which destroys up to 2 selected cards, and the Sun, which converts up to 3 cards to hearts. I'm going to go ahead and move to the next round instead of buying anything else. Alright, so we can get a free Mega Standard Pack if we skip either of these. I think because these are starting to increase in value, I'm going to go ahead and play them just so we can maybe get some better jokers. Alright, so we do have a 2-pair. We have almost a flush, and we have not really a straight forming. I'm going to go ahead and play the 2-pair. I'm a glutton for punishment, and because I love to play the 2-pair. It's not the best card or the best hand, but it pops up the most. Alright, so now we do have a couple interesting options. So we have another 2-pair. We have 4 diamonds. Let's see. But we don't have that many left. And we don't really have the start of a straight. So I'm going to get rid of 5. Now we have 4 cards towards a straight, but not a straight. I think so. We do have 2 kings left and 4 8s left. I'm going to get rid of the 7. And then, all right. So now we have a lot of different options. So we have a 2-pair. We also have a straight. And our straight can start at an ace or start at a king and go down to a 9. I think what I'm going to do is do the straight that starts at a king. That way we still have a pair left over if we need to do something. And now here's the tricky part. Do I want to play the 10 of clubs, which will give us 3 to the multi, or the glass 10, which would multiply our multi by 2? I think I'm going to play the glass, and I'm going to move it to the end again. So that way, if any of these cards get an extra score, they'll be added to the multi before we multiply by 2. And that's really, in this case, just for our 9 of diamonds. So let's see how this pans out. All right, so we're at 5,000 now. Ooh, we have a lot of different options. We have a flush, we have a full house, and so flush gets us more points than a full house. So I'm gonna play the flush, even though, well, both would get rid of our steel card anyways. And all 5 cards are going to get 3 added to the multiplier. So this should theoretically get us the win in this round. Not quite. I tried to do too much math in my head. Alright, so we do have a full house here. We haven't added any to our full house, so it's still the base 40 by 4. I think what I might do is get rid of these two to see if anything else pops up. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and play the full house. And we still get 80 added because full house contains a 2 pair. And that pushed us over the edge. Alrighty. Alright, so we have $36. We could get extra chips if we play a straight. If we don't use any discards, we can get $2 per discard. Purchase playing cards from the shop. I think I need to try and get a better joker. So let's see. Ooh. This actually has a couple of ones that I get a lot. So this first one, we get 10 added to the multiplier if we play a 2 pair. This, you get extra 3 added to the multiplier for every joker card. And so because we have 5 joker cards currently, it's plus 15. We have photo chat, or no, we have photo joker. Photo chat is a good combination that I'm sure you guys will see me play later, which the first played face card gives you times 2 to the multiplier. And then we have, I forget this guy's name, I think it's Runner or something like that, because he looks like a runner with his running bib. Every time you play a straight, it adds 15 chips. I love this one. And so, let's see. I think I'm going to get rid of Clever Joker. And buy Photograph. And one of the things that I like to do is rearrange my jokers because they will go from left to right if multiple of them can be played at different times. And so I always put ones that have multiply effect on the right, on the far right. And so all these will have adding to the multiplier. And that way, for me, it's a reminder of making sure that everything is in order from left to right. Now, I know I said that I like to stay above $25, but I think I'm going to go ahead and get the Arcana pack as well. I'll get us just under that, so we can change one to a gold card, select 2 cards, convert the left card into the right card, convert up to 3 selected cards to clubs, convert up to 3 selected cards to spades, and then destroy up to 2 selected cards. Alright, so our upcoming is a serpent, so after your play or discard, you always draw 3 cards. So, let's see. I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to convert these 3 to clubs, because we do have our gluttonous joker up here that'll give us 3 to the multiplier for those. We are building up. We do have flush as our highest, and we can't run into the boss blind where they're debuffed anymore. I was thinking about using death to convert one of our cards to the glass ace, but I think this will be a little bit more useful. Actually, we could do both because we can choose up to 2. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Convert those 3 to, actually, yeah, those 3 to clubs. And then whenever I'm using death, I generally take the lowest card that I have, even though it is a club. I think because I'm changing it into a glass card, it'll be a little bit more useful. So I'll go ahead and do that. All right. And the tower has just been hanging up here for a while. I think I'm going to go ahead and sell it just because that'll push me over to 25, and that way I get the full interest next time. It's all about strategy or strategery. All right, so we have a 2 pair. We have 4 cards towards a flush. I don't think I want to go for a flush with spades. Actually, so I'm going to go ahead and play our 2 pair. And I'm going to move, actually, all right, I think I'm going to get rid of these guys. And that way our raised fist has a better chance of scoring more. That's going to rearrange them again. Okay, so going to put the 7s up front because we do have photograph. And I'm going to get rid of our 4 of spades. We definitely need some higher scoring hands in here. And so, because 2 pair is only going to give us 40 base chips, I'm going to start getting rid of some of these to see what we get. All right. We're almost to the straight here. Gonna get rid of that guy. So we do have 9 clubs left, but we also have 9 hearts and 9 diamonds left. We only have 2 queens left, so getting a straight is probably not going to happen. So I'm going to do something a little risky. All right. We ended up getting a queen, so we could have done a straight, but we got a flush instead, which is what I wanted to go for, because that gives us 3 multi for every card, and thank you. Moving my king to the end because we have photograph. And we have 0 discards left, so we get an extra 15. I don't know if this will quite do it, but it definitely gets us closer. All right. Ooh, this is interesting. So we got a glass joker, and so we could do full house with either jacks or 6s. Our jack we could turn into, we can use this one to re-trigger so we get the multiplied by 2 twice. I think that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go ahead and put them in this order. And actually, I want to move this before the ace because I want to add the multi from this first. Because it'll get the +3 times 2 twice, and then this will add times 2 after that instead of times 2 first and then +3 times 2 twice. Yay, math. Oh, and I did the wrong thing. I put this jack first, and so it got the photograph, and so I messed it up. However, we still have 2 hands, and we're only 75 chips away from beating this, so we should be fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my 6s in front of my queens. Make sure my queen of clubs is first, so it gets that 2 multiplier. And we'll get the times 1.5 with the steel card, and we should be well over what we need to beat this round. And you can change it so that like the scores and everything go by faster. It is a little bit strategic why this is so slow, because I will be reviewing these and tracking a lot of these things, and so I need it to not go super fast. And you can do that if you go to your options and settings. You can change your game speed. Maybe we'll go up to 2 and see if that looks a little bit better. All right, so we have $35. Let's see. We're playing flushes, straights, and 2 pairs the most. You go ahead and get the Mega Arcana pack first. All right, so we can recreate the Death Tarot, which selects 2 cards. You can convert the left card into the right card. You can get a gold card, create 2 random tarot cards, convert 3 selected cards to clubs, and then create a steel card. I'm gonna use the Emperor, see what we get. Oh, okay. These are not great for this run, but what I'm going to do is I can go ahead and use these. I'm going to convert this to a stone card. And so this has no rank or suit, gives you 50 chips. And then I'm going to make 2 of these bonus cards. I like to spread things out a little bit, so I'm going to add the bonus cards to the Queen of Clubs and the 5 of Diamonds. And so they get that little blue arrow to get 30 extra chips. Alright, and so we have 3 more things, or we can do 1 more thing. And so I'm going to use the moon again and convert, let's see, Queen, glass card, and we'll go ahead and this guy to clubs. And so our deck, we now have 18 clubs, whereas all the other suits we have less. Alright, and even though it put us right under $25, I'm going to get the flush planet, Jupiter, just because we are tending to play that a little bit more. Alright, so now we have the Serpent. After player discard, always draw 3 cards. So this one is fun, and I will show you, especially because we have Mystic Summit, the strategy that I use in this. I discard 1 card at a time, which isn't going to be great for the raised fist, but it'll allow us to get as many cards as we need to do some crazy things. And so we actually have 5 of a kind here. But I'm going to, yeah, this is fun because you can do stuff that you wouldn't be able to do in normal poker. Because we have Mystic Summit, and every time we discard, we get 3 cards, no matter how many we discard. I'm going to get rid of one of the 9s. I'm going to keep all of our clubs because that'll still get us the highest. Oh, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 aces. So now we can do some strategery. Unfortunately, our hands can only be 5 cards. And so I'm going to keep the steel card in our hand. And you'll notice that we cannot even see what the score is for 5 of a kind because it's a hidden poker hand. But once we play it, we'll be able to see it. And so I'm going to play both of the glass cards, the multiplier ace. I'm going to put that first. Our other ace of clubs, I'll put that first. And I'm going to move this ace of clubs here to make sure that all of the plus multi from that one gets added or gets multiplied by 2 from this glass joker. And then, let's see, we have 8 spades and 6 hearts remaining and 8 diamonds. So I'm just going to choose a random spade or diamond, doesn't matter. I'm keeping this one in my hand because we're also going to be able to multiply the total by 1.5. And, fun fact, you can rearrange the cards you're holding in your hand so that it does raised fist first, so adds 12 to the multi, then multiplies by 1.5. If you kept the ace over here, it would multiply by 1.5 first. So it's all about optimizing your math. All right, so now we can see that our 5 of a kind is getting us 120 chips by 12 multiplier. Let's see how that goes up. And actually, I'm going to change this to be slow because it might start going through some things fast. So I want to make sure that we see exactly what's going on. So fire means that you beat the round score in just one hand. And I got an achievement for scoring 10,000 chips in a hand, unlocked a deck, unlocked another joker, and so we'll be able to see everything we unlocked. We'll wait to do that until after this round is done, or after this run is done. And we'll probably only get through one run today, but I think it's a good way to start to see what's happening. So we have Empress, which can make more cards like our ace here, adding 4 to the multiplier. This one gives us 30 chips for each remaining discard. We can get a spectral pack and then a jumbo buffoon pack. I'm going to go ahead and get the jumbo buffoon. I want to get rid of crazy joker if we can. So we have joker, which is just straight up 4 multiplier. We have jack joker, which gives us $5 for every discard that matches whatever rank it says every hand. We can earn $2 per discard if no discards are used by the end of the round, and then 50 chips for the pair. I think I'm going to get rid of... How many times have we played a straight? We still haven't leveled up the straight, so I'm going to get rid of the straight. And because we're already in ante 6, I think I'm just going to go ahead and get the joker so we can keep adding to our score. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get the spectral pack. Okay, we have Hex, which can add a polychrome to a random joker but it destroys all over other jokers, which I'm not going to do this far into the game. And then Grim, which we used earlier, which destroys one random card and gives us 2 enhanced aces. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I am afraid it's going to get rid of my lucky card or some of my clubs, but it's a small chance. Alright, got rid of one of the cards I wanted to get rid of. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and add our Empress up here and move on to the next round. So we could get 2 free tarot cards. If we skip this big blind, we can create up to 2 common jokers, but that's only if we have 2 spots up here. And then here, our hearts are debuffed. I'm going to go ahead and skip to get some more tarots, because those have been very useful so far. Okay, we got some fun ones. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Empress first. I'm going to add multi to our 2 face cards. And then now this becomes whether I want to have some fun or... Okay, so I'm going to double our money. That one I'm definitely going to do. I'm not going to use the wild card or the hex because the wild card could get us 1 more club, but I think I'm going to either do... I do like High Priestess because it gives us 2 planet cards. However, they are random, and generally they're not always ones that I want. And so I think for funsies, I'm going to do Wheel of Fortune. If you've ever played Balatro, Wheel of Fortune basically is a 1 in 4 chance to add a special effect to one of these jokers up here. One of the things that's fun is that if it doesn't happen, you just get a big old nope on the screen. So, and we're going to be tracking this. So, why not? Let's use our Wheel of Fortune. Nope. Didn't change any of our jokers. So I'm just going to go ahead and double our money for the second one. Hopefully that doesn't come to bite us, but we will see. All right. So, oh, this is another hidden hand. So we have a flush house. So that means we have a full house that's all the same suit. I'm just discovering everything today. All right, so we definitely want these 2 first. And then I'm going to put this last, so it makes sure to get this multiplied by 2. I think I am going to get rid of those 2. Now we got a 2. Let me get rid of that one. Okay, that's a little bit better. And even though we have 4 of a kind, flush 5 is going to get us 4 points. So I'm going to rearrange them again. So our aces are first. Then we got our first queen is going to give us ×2. Our second queen isn't going to add any, well, it's going to add 3 to the multiply. And then our last ace is going to, yes, flush house. Yeah, so there are 3 hidden hands in Balatro. We've already found 2 of them in this first stream. Red deck, white stake. Craziness. I don't get those hands very often, so this is a little funny because this never happens when I'm playing. So that didn't quite get us up to 30,000, but that's okay. And you'll notice that our glass card broke. Yes, they did. They knew I was streaming today. Our glass card broke, so that means that it went away. It was destroyed and we can't use it again. We do have 4 towards a flush, but we also don't have a ton of clubs left because I was trying to get the raised fist like working. So let's see. I'm gonna get rid of the 9, 8, and queen. I'm gonna keep the ace because we still have 5 aces left, and hope that a club pops up. So club did not pop up. We do have a 2 pair, but I don't think that that's going to get us what we need. So I'm going to get rid of this 3 because we still have a 2 pair up here if we want. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this ace. Why not? All right. So maybe not the best move, but we still have a 2 pair. So I'm going to move our 7s up front. And for our photograph, I want the king that has the highest multi first. And so this one is +4. This one is +3. So I'm going to put my king of hearts first. Because we're not going to have a ton of clubs left, I'm not going to add anything to the discard. All right. Okay, so now we have a straight. It's not going to get us a ton of points, but because we do have Mystic Summit, it might get us there. Yes. Alrighty. I feel like I've been super lucky today. This never happens. Alright. So interestingly enough, we now have a Celestial pack pop up. One of the things that's interesting about Balatro is the 2 poker hands I played that are hidden, you can only buy the planet card for them once you've played that hand in the round. And so I'm guessing one of them is going to pop up in here. And because I want to discover it, I'm going to go ahead and buy it, even though that might not be the best decision. Because it's not going to pop up very often. So we have a pair, we have a straight, which is Saturn, and then we have planet X, which is 5 of a kind. I'm going to go ahead and get planet X, so I discover that and it won't go away, which may not be the best for strategery, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm gonna open up my buffoon pack. Ooh, got this guy, which gives you an extra 1.5 for every uncommon joker. Do we have any uncommon jokers? So we have a common joker, common joker, common joker, common joker, common joker. So even though I love this one, actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and sell Joker. I'm going to go ahead and buy him because we'll get money back if we want to sell him. And I was thinking about getting Scary Face anyways. Let's see. Our next blind is all heart cards are debuffed. So we don't have to worry about our face cards being debuffed. So I'm going to go ahead and I don't really want to sell him just in case another uncommon pops up, but seeing as though we don't have any right now, I gotta go ahead and add something that will help in the meantime. I am going to get this voucher to make our rerolls $3 less. All right, and so we can get spade gives 3. We don't have a ton of spade, so that probably would not make more sense than some of the others. Let's go ahead and get a full house, planet Earth, and then re-roll one more time. Okay. Now we can get 31 chips for all the odd cards, or we can get the steel card, which for every steel card we have in our deck, it adds 0.2 to the multi. So because we have one steel card, it's currently 1.2 multi. Now, one of the things about Balatro is, especially in the later antes, you definitely need to have some multis. So I'm gonna, even though I just bought Scary Face, I'm gonna go ahead and sell it and buy Steel Joker. All right. So we have 4 towards a flush. We do have a ton of aces, so I'm going to keep those in there. I'm going to get rid of the 7 as well. Okay, so now we have a flush. So I'm going to move the king to the back. And the Steel Joker is on the far right because I want all of my plus multis to go first and then him to go last. All right, so we can get a full house with not super helpful cards. So I'm going to go ahead and discard this and then play the full house. None of our cards are going to add any to the multi, so it's going to be pretty low scoring. But it also gets rid of a hand that is not going to add a ton of value. Hopefully that doesn't come to bite me when we get to the end of this round, but we'll see. Okay, so as much as I love my lucky card, I'm going to get rid of that. Alright, so we do have a flush, we have a straight, but our flush is going to score more, especially because we are dealing with clubs. And so I'm going to keep this in our hand so it'll add 1.5, multiply by 1.5. I'm doing our jack first because it'll be triggered twice, so we'll get ×2 for photograph, and then our queen last. Oh, and I should have moved the ace after the 9, but it didn't matter because we still beat the round. Now we're on to ante 7. All right. So I'm going to look at these beforehand. We can double our money, get a free tarot pack, and then our upcoming is we must play 5 cards. And so we have Campfire, which gains 0.25 for every card sold, but it resets every boss blind. We do have Hallucination, which we had earlier. We have Blank Voucher, which does nothing. Um, we'll find out what that does soon enough. And then Arcana pack and Standard pack. I'm going to go for the 2 booster packs to see. So, convert more cards to clubs, lucky, and then increase the rank of up to 2 select cards by 1. I think for what we've been doing, I need to keep converting to clubs. So I'm going to choose our 3 highest cards, convert them to clubs, and then polychrome. So this card, when you play it, multiplies by 1.5. However, we do have 4 6s, but we only have 13 heart cards. It is the second highest, but we could add another club, which I think I'm going to do. And I'm going to add the 9 because it's a gold card. And so if we don't end up using it, it'll give us money. All right. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next round. And now that we're up to here, I probably won't be skipping unless it's something fantastic. I might skip for the Arcana pack to try and get another Steel Joker, but we'll see what happens. Okay, we do have a straight right off the bat. We do have a flush right off the bat. I'm going to go for the flush just because that is our higher scoring hand. And so that'll also get rid of the 2 for Raised Fist. But we definitely need to play some clubs. All right. So our full house is a little bit, it's okay. It's not great, but I think that might make a little bit more sense to play next. So I'm going to move, because they're all face cards, I'm going to move this one to the front so it gets the photograph. What does the number on the right side mean when you're looking at the hands? That's a good question. It means how many times you've played it. So we've played 12 2 pairs, because I love 2 pairs, 8 flushes, 3 full houses. And so you can see what you play the most of. And it is really helpful because sometimes it helps you as you're building a deck. Great question. Yeah, 2 pair Kim. Sometimes you just have to play. Oh, there we got $20 for our lucky card. Sometimes you just have to play what cards you're dealt. And so they're not necessarily going to be what I'm used to. So I'm used to playing 2 pairs all the time. Because, yeah, I don't know why. But this one I'm kind of lucking into the clubs. Okay, so we have a straight where we have 4 clubs. So because our straight is so low, I think I'm gonna not care about it and try to go for, okay, there we go. Go for a flush. Move our jack to the end because we're definitely getting to the point where we need to score points a little bit faster. And I didn't move the ace to the end again because I always forget to do that, but it's okay because we still beat the round. Okay, so, ooh. So this one is called, so it's French, and I know I'm not going to pronounce it correctly. I call it Gross Michael. I need to look up how it's actually pronounced. And every time I see it, I think of Schitt's Creek, where they're like, ew, David. And I want to be like, gross, Michael, every time I see it. Um, and so we're going to get that one. I think we're going to get rid of Mystic Summit just because we're not getting rid of all of our discards. And so this guy is tricky because there's a 1 in 6 chance it's destroyed at the end of the round, which we're going to track as well. It's 15 multi every time, and if it is destroyed, that allows you to potentially get the next Joker that's also a banana that's ×3 multi. So I really like it. So let's go ahead and open up Arcana Pack. So wild card, bonus card, stone card. So wild card is going to be our best bet right now for flushes. So going to open. All right. So we have straight flush, 4 of a kind, straight, pair, and then series is flush house. So because it doesn't come up very often, even though I'm probably not going to play it again, that way I discover it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and play this voucher. Right now it does nothing. Yes, a dwarf planet. I'm going to go ahead and get Pluto. Because if you run out of discards, sometimes it's nice to have Pluto left, or your dwarf planet left. Then, why not? Because you never know when you're going to need it. All right. I'm going to go ahead and skip it to... That may end up costing me a bad decision, but all right. So we have multis, convert the left card into the right card, hearts, bonus cards, and temperance. I think I'm going to use death to convert this 3 of hearts to Jack of Hearts. Unlocked another Joker. And I want to make sure we can still get high scores if we need to. I was hoping to find a steel card in there. For some reason, I feel like we may not beat this game, but we'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those to try and get a flush. And we do have to play 5 cards every single hand this time, even if the cards score or not. Okay, so this is looking okay. I'm gonna get rid of the 2, and then we'll play. Doesn't matter which face card goes first because they're all none of them have any multiplying effects. So we do have a full house. I think I'm going to go ahead and play that. And so I think I'm going to... Okay. Yeah. I'm going to play it with 3 jacks instead of 3 8s. No. Did I wait too late to move my steel ace? I noticed it after I had already played. Yeah. If I had moved it before, I would have done it in the order I wanted it to. Okay, so we have another full house. Actually, let me get rid of the 987. Okay, so move this up here. Make sure our glass goes last. Now, fun fact, if I was to do this and I played this, I would get 0 points because of the boss blind. I have a feeling we might lose on this round, but it all depends on what comes up next. Yeah, unless we get... Yeah, we're gonna lose. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and play our pair, which is the only thing we can get. Actually, because we use Pluto, our high card actually is better. So because our king is multiplied by 2, I'm going to use that as our high card and then just get rid of whatever's at the end, but it's not going to be enough. Womp womp. Okay. So I'm going to switch views to show the tracker. So we ended at... Going to go ahead and hit ended. Copy paste values. Copy. Command Shift V is also paste values. If you don't want to do that instead of, or if you want to do that instead of using the drop down. I know, so sad. So false, we lost. Not keeping track of the jokers because we didn't win, and I'm gonna go ahead and track those in a different way. This is just for the stickers. The unlocks I'm gonna grab in a second. I'm gonna copy the seed and paste it in here. All right, best hand is 32176. Most played hand, no surprise, got a 2 pair. Played that 12 times. Played 188 cards. Discarded 91 cards. Purchased 40. Rerolled 5 times. And I'll make sure to change those so they don't have a decimal in a second. We had 69 new discoveries. Nice. We made it all the way to ante 7 and round 15. Not bad for the first, not round 75, 15. Not bad for the first time playing on here. We were defeated by the Psychic, and so I'm going to go ahead and type that in here. And it searches nicely, and we ended up having $27 at the end. So, one hand, we lost, or one run, we lost, but that's okay. So, now, because we've been playing for 2 hours, I'm going to go back to the main menu, I'm going to track our new discoveries. And so we got, and I never remember their names. And so I will need to double check on his name. So we unlocked the blue deck. So we can put that in there. We unlocked, this is Showman. This is Oops All Sixes. I think the other one was Matador. Let me see if that shows up. Yes, Matador. That was the first one that showed up. Okay, and I'm going to rearrange that, even though it doesn't really matter. Actually, it's not going to like that right now. Okay, that's okay. I'll do that later. All right, we unlocked the yellow deck. We unlocked driver's license. And these are all jokers that you have to do specific things to unlock. All right. And so our collection, we can look at that and see what these are going to show what we actually purchased. So we have Gluttonous Joker, Crazy Joker, Clever Joker, Joker, Mystic Summit, Raised Fist, Steel Joker, Scary Face, Gross Michael, Green Joker, Photograph, Hallucination, Baseball Card, and once we purchase these, they'll show up. Those are the ones that we unlocked. All right, for vouchers, we got Reroll Surplus, Grabber, and Blank. Tarot cards, we got the Hierophant, the Lovers, the Magician, Justice, the Empress, the Hermit, the Emperor, the Wheel of Fortune, the Tower, Death, Temperance, the Moon, and Judgment. For planet cards, we discovered 6 of the 12 possible ones. We got Venus, Earth, Pluto, Planet X, Ceres, and Jupiter. Spectral, we got Grim and Deja Vu. Additions, we just got the base edition Jokers. We didn't get any additional types of Jokers. Booster packs, we got a bunch of different Arcana packs. We got a couple different Celestial packs. A couple different Standard packs. And then a couple Spectrals and a couple Buffoons. Tags, we discovered 5. The Planet, Tarot, Free Shop, Spectral, and Garbage. And for blinds, we discovered the small blind, the big blind, the club, the goad, the mouth, the serpent, the head, and the mark. So a lot of different discoveries. I'll probably be tracking those too. But I think that's going to be it for today. I really appreciate those of you who tuned in, commented, played along. Please make sure to like, subscribe, follow, any of the above. Let me know what you think. Next Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, I will be playing some more Balatro hands. Hopefully more than one run per time slot. And then next Saturday, we're going to start looking at what the data looks like and get into some of the more interesting parts of our database that we'll be building. So, thank you so, so, so much. I really appreciate you being here and have a wonderful